Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 1 of the Resilite recap presented by IUSTV Sports. I'm Riley Woodall. He's Adam Oppenheim, and we're here to recap the latest slate of Big Ten duels, hand out some awards, and preview what's to come this weekend in the Premier Wrestling Conference. Adam, we'll start with Penn State, the Nittany Lions, with 2 dominant victories over the weekend, 39-0 over Michigan, 35-10 over Maryland. This team continues to cut down everyone in their path.
It's so impressive. The best conference in the country is the Big Ten, and Penn State makes it look easy. 2 straight matches of not giving up a takedown. They have top 5 contributors across the board. It's really impressive.
Yeah, Penn State shuts out Michigan 39-0, as I mentioned, did not give up a takedown. That is the Nittany Lions' 5th shutout of the season. Michigan drops to 5-5, 2-5 in conference. 4 bonus point victories for the Nittany Lions against the Wolverines, 6 against Maryland. No Braden Davis at 133. Be interested to see if he wrestles in the dual meet against Ohio State this weekend. Adam, we've heard good things, that he's trending in the right direction, but it should be a pretty entertaining one against the Buckeyes this weekend.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be a really interesting match. Also, Tyler Kasak at 157, first ranked, was in the concussion protocol, so ends up losing that match to number 6, Ethan Miller. So we'll see if he's back as well.
Yeah, Braden Davis, just to kind of let those know, last time he wrestled was against Rutgers on January 24th. He won 2-1 over Dylan Shaver, the reigning Big Ten champion, at 133 pounds. So hopefully he'll be back for what should be an exciting duel against Ohio State on Friday. More on that in a little bit. The Nittany Lions have won their 69th straight dual meet. Adam, this team hasn't lost since 2020 versus Iowa in Iowa City, 1917.
It's unbelievably impressive how they keep getting all the top wrestlers and then the freshmen who just fill in and are top 10. Even their backups could start at so many other schools. It is the most dominant team in all of sports, in all of college sports right now. I don't even think it's even a question.
No, and I think a lot of people have mentioned it. I think this team has the chance to be not just the best wrestling team in America, but the best wrestling team of all time. Wow. And again, last year, this team's even better than last year's team. And last year, they had 7 guys, I believe, in the national finals. They could have forfeited every single one of those matches and still won the NCAA title. It's just impressive what Cale Sanderson's been able to do out there in State College. We'll move on to Carver Hawkeye, Iowa, with an electric comeback win against Nebraska to secure its 5th conference dual meet victory of the season. What a finish in Iowa City, Adam.
Yeah, it was huge. Ended at 197, and then the heavyweights at 285. Stephen Buchanan, first ranked, got a huge pin. And then Ben Peter, huge win over Harley Andrews, who's also a ranked player. It's impressive. I was hanging in there near the top of the Big Ten. You know, they just looked to that that Penn State match rather a lot, and they unfortunately lost that. They pretty much got destroyed, but still, it's a huge win over the Nebraska team.
Yeah, Nebraska led 16-9 with 2 matches to go, back-to-back right. Bonus point victories for the Hawks. Stephen Buchanan with the pin against Camden McDaniel, and then Ben Peter got the 8-0 major decision over Harley Andrews. Iowa 11-1 now, 5-1 in conference. Nebraska drops to 9-3, 4-2 in the Big Ten Conference. Last but not least, a roller coaster ride for Ohio State last weekend. The Buckeyes lost a stunner to Minnesota at home 2017 and then bounced back in the road dual meet against Indiana. No matter who you are in the Big Ten, Adam, there are no nights off.
Absolutely. I mean, it really came down to the last match. Max McAnally defeated Ryder Ogodsky, which is just a huge match, and they ended up winning 20-17. All these matches in the Big Ten are really close because it's a bunch of ranked teams. The outlier is Penn State. Every other team from 2 to 25 in the rankings, they're all going to be competitive, and even the unranked teams, they get some really good recruits.
I want to talk about Indiana for just a second. This is a team that was within 3 points of Ohio State, but the Buckeyes with back-to-back bonus point victories to ice it and get the win. This Indiana team's come a long way.
It's true. I mean, under head coach Angel Escobedo, who's national champion in Indiana, the team has really improved. They've gotten better recruits. The development has been great. But they don't have the really top dog in the top 5 consistently every year. It was maybe supposed to be DJ Washington, who's had a little bit of a down year, was pinned in their last match against Ohio State. But they're hanging in there at a lot of weight classes. But there's just a couple more holes than other Big Ten teams. The Minnesotas, the Nebraskas, the Iowas, and obviously the Penn States, where you have 2 or 3 weight classes where you're really not sure what you're going to get. And that's where not only the transfer portal helps, but getting the highest recruits. And they're getting a pretty good class next year.
Yeah, 14th best recruiting class in the nation for the Hoosiers in 2024. Other scores from the weekend: Rutgers won a thriller against Maryland in College Park, 21-20. Northwestern over Michigan State, 27-12. Purdue 33, Wisconsin 7. Minnesota muscles its way past Purdue on Sunday, 35-6. 2 wins for the Golden Gophers on the weekend, and Wisconsin beat Michigan State 25-12. Time to hand out our awards for Wrestlers of the Week. Adam, we'll start with you.
I referenced it earlier, but Max McAnally from Minnesota, the redshirt freshman, majored at number 19, Ryder Rogotsky of Ohio State, to win the duel for the Golden Gophers. Absolutely huge match. As a redshirt freshman, he lost 1 game across 4 years in high school. 1 match, rather. Max McAnally, a wrestler to look out for, one of the best freshmen across the country.
I'm going to go to Iowa with Stephen Buchanan. Again, as I mentioned earlier, the Hawkeyes are down by 7. With 2 matches to go, he's up 7-2 against Camden McDaniel to enter the 3rd period, and then he just turns it on. 3 takedowns against McDaniel in the final frame, and then the exclamation point. He gets the pin with 8 seconds left to go in the match, and makes it a 1-point dual meet. And of course, that sets up Ben Keeter to come back and get the major decision win and get the dub for Iowa. Buchanan remains unbeaten, a perfect 16-0 for the OU transfer. Iowa comes back and wins it 19-16. Still to come on the Resilite recap, our top 5 takedowns of the week and a preview of what's to come this weekend in the Big Ten. We'll be right back. Riley Woodall with IUSTV Sports back here on the Resilite Recap Show, bringing you my top 5 takedowns of the week. At number 5, Penn State's Tyler Kasak gets in on a single leg 15 seconds into the match, brings it up to the 2nd level. Pretty solid defense from Zach Matten of Michigan, but the Nittany Lion won't be denied. Pulls Matten back in and hits a sweet leg sweep for 3. Kasak would go on to win 7-2 over Matten for his 21st straight victory. At number 4, Isaiah Salazar of Minnesota tied 1-1 with Ohio State's Seth Shoemate. In on the re-attack on the edge, heavy hips from Shoemate, but the Golden Gopher doubles off, sits the Buckeyes hip to the mat, keeps a toe in, and gets the takedown with 3 seconds left in sudden victory to win it 4-1, helping Minnesota stun Ohio State in Columbus. At number 3, the marquee matchup at 149 between Iowa's Kyle Parko and Nebraska's Ridge Lovett on Friday did not disappoint. The Hawkeye gets in with double underhooks, tries the trip, nice balance from both wrestlers. Parko goes upstairs with a body lock, tosses the Husker to the mat, and gets the critical takedown in the 3rd period. Parko wins at 3-2 and moves to 3-0 all-time against Lovett. At the runner-up spot, Indiana 165-pounder Tyler Lillard throws Ohio State's Brock Herman and makes Wilkinson Hall explode. 7-point move for the Hoosier that propelled him to a 15-2 major decision win over the Buckeyes. Lillard snaps a 2-match losing streak and gains some momentum down the stretch. And my number 1 takedown of the week, Penn State's Carter Starachi versus Maryland's Jackson Smith. A slick level change from the Nittany Lion, head outside single, swings his hips around, hits the go behind, and gets his 2nd tech fall of the weekend, 23 over the turf. Starachi looking unstoppable as his quest for 5 national titles continues. Adam, it was a very entertaining weekend of Big Ten duels, and we've got another stacked card ahead of us starting on Friday when Ohio State hosts Penn State in the Covelli Center. You can't make enough popcorn for this dual meet.
I'm so excited. This is going to be one of the meets of the year, if not the meet of the year. Let's start at 141. Number 1, Jesse Mendez for Ohio State, and number 3, Bo Bartlett for Penn State. 2 really good wrestlers who do not lose a lot, and they're facing off yet again.
It's the 4th time that they will be meeting. Bo Bartlett got the better of Mendez the first time these two squared off when Penn State hosted Ohio State last season. Mendez won 2 in a row. He beat him for the Big Ten title and the NCAA title. Both undefeated on the year so far. Adam, we're going to see potentially four number 1 ranked guys in action and 5 top 10 matches.
I mean, it's incredible. It's incredible the amount of talent these teams have. Not only their veteran wrestlers, but also their younger guys. It is just incredible, the pipeline, especially with Penn State. But Ohio State, they're not far behind.
Yeah, 157 is another matchup I'm looking at in particular. Again, projected matchups.
Right.
Don't know if we're going to get them for sure. We hope, number 1, Tyler Kasak can wrestle in that dual meet, as well as Brayton Davis. He's been out for a minute as well at 133. Tyler Kasek has the potential to take on Sammy Sasso, who's ranked number 17 right now. Kasek 121 straight before that loss to Maryland. And, of course, Sasso, he didn't wrestle last weekend at all. But if those two guys go at it, that could be a really good one at 157.
Yeah, there should be some really fun toss-up matches that I think Ohio State needs to stay close in order to win the meet.
174, number 2, Levi Haynes is going to take on Carson Karchla, the number 5 ranked wrestler at 174. One loss combined between the two of those wrestlers as well. Adam, again, you just look up 125, 133, 141. Every single weight class has a potential showstopper that we're going to be treated to see.
It's going to be an incredible match for all of those people, especially in person. The meet is going to be incredible.
So who wins it?
I'll take Penn State by, around 7 or 8 points, I would say.
Yeah, I think Ohio State's going to pack out the Covelli Center. It's going to be an electric environment in Columbus. Penn State has scored 30-plus points in every single Big Ten duel they've wrestled in this year. I think that comes to an end against Ohio State. I think the Buckeyes are going to perform a little bit better against the Nittany Lions than Iowa did, simply because they're at home, they're in Columbus, they're in front of their home crowd. You can't take away that advantage that it gives having that electric environment and that crowd behind you. I've got Penn State 25, Ohio State 17. Okay. I think it's going to be a lot closer, but I think Penn State, this team's just too good. This team has the potential to be the best wrestling team of all time, not just this year. Yeah. And I don't think there's anybody that can stop them. We'll move on. Minnesota hosting Iowa this weekend. Golden Gophers, ever since that loss to Nebraska, have won 6 straight Big Ten duels. Hawkeyes are 5-1 in conference meets and coming off that thrilling win against the Cornhuskers.
This is going to be a really fun matchup as well. I'm looking at the 197 weight class. Steven Buchanan for Iowa versus Isaiah Salazar, Minnesota. That's going to be a really fun one, and a bunch of other top-ranked wrestlers in this one. Yeah,
141 is going to be interesting. Vance Vombar of Minnesota almost beat Jesse Mendez when he wrestled him when Ohio State hosted the Golden Gophers last weekend. He's going against number 11, Jacob Frost, two guys that are wrestling really, really well. 165, number 2 ranked Michael Caliendo versus number 11, Andrew Sparks. And again at 184, Adam, we have the potential to see number 4, Max McNelly versus number 8, Gabe Arnold, maybe Angelo Ferrari. Iowa's been switching up their guys as the dual meet slate has gone on.
Yeah, it's certainly interesting. I agree with some of the coaching decisions when you don't want to wrestle them every single meet, especially if it's not against a ranked team. But you want your starters in there against the best teams. And this is one of the best teams. So, yeah, most teams in the Big Ten, right?
Yeah. Do you have the Hawks or the Gophers?
I'll take the Hawkeyes.
You take the Hawkeyes to win it. That makes it 7 straight. Adam Oppenheim saying they're going to win 7 straight Big Ten duels after that loss to Penn State. Here's the deal. Minnesota hasn't beaten Iowa since 2014. I think that 11-year drought comes to an end. Right. Give me the Golden Gophers 22-19 over the Iowa Hawkeyes. That's going to be a treat to watch in addition to the Penn State-Ohio State matchup. Last one we'll make our picks for. Indiana travels to the Devaney Center in Lincoln to battle Nebraska. Huskers looking to bounce back after that loss in Iowa City. Hoosiers trying to do something they haven't done since 2010, Adam, under Dwayne Goldman, and that's get 4 Big Ten wins in a season.
It's been a really good season for Indiana, but this is going to be a tough one on the road in Lincoln. I'm going to take Nebraska, but I think Indiana could hang in there. It really depends on some of the ranked matchups. 184, Silas Allred, 7th ranked for the Cornhuskers versus DJ Washington, who's 24th ranked for Indiana. We've both seen him wrestle in person. DJ Washington should be better than the 24th ranked wrestler at 184. And then you're looking at heavyweight 285. Harley Andrews, 21st for Nebraska versus Jacob Bullock, 18th ranked for Indiana.
Yeah, 165 is a matchup that I'm really looking forward to. Number 8, Chris Minto versus number 19, Tyler Lillard. Two guys that are incredibly fun to watch. Tyler Lillard, a guy who's probably the most entertaining and exciting wrestler for Indiana to watch. He's had an outstanding season, Midlands champ. You mentioned DJ Washington. I talked to him after the loss to Ohio State, and he said, I'm not worried about it. I'm focused on moving forward. And I think that's the mindset that the entire Indiana team is going to take into that battle in Lincoln. I think the loss to Ohio State, the close loss to the Buckeyes, really showed them what this team is capable of doing. They're wrestling some of the best we've seen for a long time. So they have a chance to, really make some noise. I got Indiana 20, Nebraska 19.
All right.
Adam, who's your pick?
I'm going to take Nebraska. I mean, I think they're going to win by, a couple of the matches where Indiana doesn't have one of the top-ranked guys, and I think that's what could separate the Cornhuskers. The key is for Indiana to not give up the fall or the tech fall, or the tech points, I should say. That's really important because those points start to add up. You lose by, a couple points. That's not a big deal.
Yeah, and again, you got to lose small in order to give yourself a chance in these very competitive Big Ten duels. That'll do it for us in the studio. Thank you all so much for tuning in to the Resilite Recap. For Adam Oppenheim and Colin Dusek behind the camera, I'm Riley Woodall. We'll see you next time. God bless.